Welcome to Season 3 of SkillCast, the podcast by the London Organisation of Skills Development. I'm Nurbanu, I'm your host. I'm beyond excited to kick off another season of powerful insights, real conversations, and game-changing skills. This season, we're leveling up, bringing you deeper conversations with experts and visionaries who are redefining success. From mindset shifts to must-have skills, we're unpacking what it really takes to stay ahead in an ever-evolving world. So if you're ready to learn, grow, and be inspired, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to SkillCast.
Thank you very much for having me.
I feel honoured and thrilled that I've got the King's representative, Deputy Lieutenant Lady Sidra Naeem with me today. How do you like to introduce yourself to people?
I just introduce myself as Sidra Naeem, but everybody else, they, then form their own opinions based on what they know about me. But, underneath all of that glamour and everything, I am my own person. I have my own personality.
So humble. I love that. Love the humble nature that you have. So how did you get started in all of this humanitarian work that you do?
I think for me, the biggest point in my life which changed me was actually the week of 9/11. So when 9/11 happened, there was a lot of, difficult questions which I had to answer as a Muslim person, but also the stigma out there was really awful. The media was portraying all kinds of myths, actually, which people were then questioning me because they knew I was Muslim. And it was actually by the end of that week, I decided that I need to go out there. I need to change the narrative. I need to change the perception, really, of Muslims and Muslim women, this perception that they're oppressed and this perception that they're no good and they don't do anything apart from doing bad, which was obviously being portrayed in the media. So it was actually then I decided I need to go out there, I need to do voluntary work, I need to show people, through good works, humanitarian works, that, we can be good people. And that's actually where it started. That's when my journey started, really.
So what were you doing before then? Were you working or just mainly at home?
Oh, no. So before then, I've always been, quite talented. So within my job, I was rising higher and higher and higher. So I started my life off as a scientist. That was going really well. I was working in the hospital, Moorfields Eye Hospital. Then what happened was when I got married and I had children, that's when I decided I needed to become a teacher so I could be at home with them in the holidays. I didn't want them to get neglected. So I became a teacher, started off primary school teacher, and then after that I specialised within special educational needs and disabilities. So that was my further step. Then I went on the senior management team. I rose higher and higher. Then I started training all the special need coordinators in the area. I was training parents within special needs. I did a master's in mental health and special needs. So I would say I was at the top of my professional ladder, if you like, when the next step then happened, which was the 9/11 step, which then led me into a completely different area. But what is so interesting is all the talents that I'd collected along the way on my journey up the professional ladder, it's all those talents then I used to do all the voluntary work. So the teaching side, for example, was amazing. I was already used to public speaking to children, in huge assemblies. So then when I was giving speeches in churches or doing talks, to enlighten people on, all kinds of matters, I was already used to it. My science degree till this day, I'm doing lectures on science to educate people. For example, during COVID, I was educating people about the vaccine and the way it works and everything. So all of those talents, it was almost like I knew that what was going to come in the future, which and then all those talents then I used for the voluntary work. And now I'm doing everything. People think, oh, she just does voluntary and she doesn't work. But I'm still working alongside doing all the voluntary work.
Oh, so are you working still as a teacher?
Yes, so now I've gone even a higher step,
Okay.
and now I'm teacher training teachers.
Oh, amazing.
So now I teacher train teachers within special needs, the special needs units of teacher training degrees and master's degrees at university level. So I'm, like a professor. And along my journey, because I learned so much about religion along the way, and I did qualifications with religion, I became a chaplain as well at the university where I work. So now I have multiple roles.
Yeah, multiple roles. So
Yes.
how do you balance this whole doing multiple things and then also creating that loving, homely environment for your family as well? How do you balance it, especially as
Yes.
a Muslim as well? Because you find in a lot of Muslim families, I'm sorry if I'm being a bit stereotypical here,
No,
but you
that's fine.
find a lot of Muslim women, after they get married and they have children, their responsibilities rise and they generally tend to become homemakers. They take care of the home.
Yes.
They may have a side job just on the side, working a couple of hours a week, just to make it just to keep their brains going. But kids are their main priority.
Yes.
How was your family's reaction when you started? Because taking the time to study, because you were I could see that you're very much into knowledge acquisition, learning, keep upskilling, learning. Like you did so many like masters and extra degrees, and still you continue to learn.
Yes.
How did your family react?
Right, so basically there's three things here. The first thing is I work part-time, and I've always worked part-time. The second thing is I became a teacher for that reason, so that I could be with my children during the summer holidays or the half term or school hours, you see. And being a special needs coordinator, this is why I did the special needs and mental health degree, so that I could be a SENCO, special educational needs coordinator. And with that, then you're not teaching and don't have to be there. I could leave then when school ends, you see. So that's how I've juggled that around. One being a teacher, one being a SENCO. The other thing is with the voluntary work, my family go wherever I go. So, for example, I'm here now and my whole family's here with me. And that is the best way. So they are alongside me in my journey and enjoying everything with me. You see?
It's a massive blessing that you have, because not everyone has that great fortune of having that support system, because in order to be so accomplished like you, there's always someone standing behind. Every successful woman has a husband, has a children, has a family that's there pushing them, support them, and you've got that, you've created that environment.
Yes, but also for them as well, looking at it the other way around, they wouldn't have gone to any of these wonderful places. Would they have even dreamt of coming to Harvard University, for example, if it wasn't for me, you see? So it works both ways. Yes, I get this support, especially of my husband, who I feel should be with me wherever I go, the strength and sort of security that you get, especially when you're going abroad. But also they are also benefiting, you see. So now I feel so happy because my son now is rising up the platforms like I did earlier on, but at a younger age. And that opportunity would not have come along if I was an ordinary mother.
Exactly. And he never would have dreamt of speaking on a global platform like he's just done. And it's amazing to kind of be that beacon of inspiration, not just for other people, but within your own family.
And that has made me so happy. Because in a way I'm thinking, I've often thought actually that when I become old and I stop all of this, who's going to continue the legacy? But now, after the talk my son did at the university, I feel, yes, I've got someone in my family who's now at least going to continue at least some aspects of the legacy. And that has made me very, very happy.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel that way.
Yes.
And I really believe people who take the time to give back, because giving back isn't, people when you say giving back, they just think charity. It isn't just charity. It is about sharing your voice, your talents, and just doing it in a way that can benefit other people. And people
Yes.
don't know how many people's hearts, minds that they are touching.
Yes. So I have touched people in so many ways. Sharing knowledge is number one. I have got knowledge in so many different aspects: science, religious education, mental health, special needs, teaching, education. If I don't know about a subject, I will research on the subject and then I can teach it, being a teacher. So I've shared my knowledge, but also I've supported so many people within counselling. So as a chaplain, but also within the community, my own community, I have helped so many people overcome their problems and difficulties, or even just to listen to them. So, like you said, it's not just, sharing charity and things. It's sharing your knowledge. It's sharing your kindness and your time. Time is so, precious, isn't it? So all of those things really. But that's why then, we're very likeable people. And that's why we have all the support systems around us which help us. Then, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support of everybody around me, the whole community and all my friends and family and everybody.
Have you ever had to say no for an opportunity, or are you just one of those people that just want to say yes, yes, yes?
I used to always say yes until very, very recently, where it's getting quite big out there. So everybody wants me, for all their events. And I can't do everything, you see. So I have very recently said no to one important thing, which I did regret later.
How does that make you feel? Because you seem like one of those people that you don't want to disappoint. You want to be there to support people, and saying no, was that a massive burden on your heart? Or?
It was, and I do actually. I'm at the stage where I feel very guilty when I say no, and then regret afterwards. So there was a very big royal gala dinner very recently, which I think if I'd pushed myself, I probably could have got to it. But I said no to. And then afterwards, when I saw the photos, I thought, oh, I wish I had gone.
Sounds like you had FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, so it is hard, but I've only come to that stage now where I really do feel physically I can't get everywhere, especially after this conference that we had at the university. I have made so many networks around the whole world, and everybody's got my number and they all want me in their country. And I know I'm not going to be able to do that. But at the same time, I know I would love to go to the Philippines. I would love to go to Goa. So let's see, one day at a time is something that I've always, one of my motto is I will cross that bridge when I get there.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that you do your groundwork and see the opportunities that you're getting and the callings and the invites you're getting because of the personality you built yourself, the figure you built yourself. You want to be going to events that are going to add value to your professional profile, to your career, and not just going just being prioritizing. Because if it's just a small little thing, how will it benefit 3 or more people, and what are you sacrificing for that long journey that you're making as well?
Yes. So I mean, something really important that I'd like to say is that first of all, I'm an opportunist. So if something comes my way and I think I should take that, I definitely should. Like this, coming here. There was no way I was going to miss this opportunity. But the second thing is I have never looked for money or fame in anything that I've taken, ever. And whatever's come has come itself. And sometimes I feel it's a reward from God, really, for all the good work that I do. God rewarded me on this earth. That's how I feel sometimes. So, some people, they do things for money or they'll do things for fame. I've never looked for any of that. And I've always felt it's come to me. I've never had to go and seek anything. But however, I would say something that I am is an opportunist. That I do take the opportunity, which other people wouldn't take. They'd say, oh, I haven't got time for that. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. And I think, gosh, if that was me, I would have taken the opportunity. Yeah. But I think, even an opportunist needs to be enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I've definitely got the enthusiasm and the passion to accept things.
How does your family feel? Because obviously you're so enthusiastic, you love opportunities. Do they ever tell you, like, I think this is enough now? We've just gone to like 3 different gardens in one day.
Yeah.
How do we...
I think that they've always seen me like this, my children, so they accept that is the way I am. But in a way, I boost them up, you see.
You get them all hyped for us, like, we got this, let's go.
Yeah, because what's interesting is the rest of my family is not that bubbly and enthusiastic. Yeah. So some of me sort of wears off on them, so I think it's good. And some of them makes me calm down, so we work really well as a family.
Yeah. So there was actually this story that I was actually listening to recently. It was for I think it was America's Top Marriages, and one of the couples that came on was they'd been married. So this couple had been married for about, I think they'd been married for about 32 years. So she'd previously been married. She said, my first relationship lasted 11 years. It was a very loving relationship, but sadly her husband passed away with cancer. So she remarried a second husband. So they've been married for the second husband 32 years now. And she basically was saying, my husband drives me up a wall. I am an A-type personality. I'm very organized. I need things to be done in order, in an orderly way. Things need to be perfect. It just has to be that way. And her husband is a very relaxed, laid-back type, B-type personality, very chill, doesn't like to socialize, doesn't like to do things. If she asks him to do something, it'll be weeks until he gets the job done. But she said, I wouldn't want it any other way, because he brings me back to reality, brings me calm and composed. It brings polarity in our dynamic, because otherwise I would be completely insane if I continue the way I do.
It's not just the personality, it's also other things. So, for example, my husband supports me with the IT aspect of things. So any events, he's there with the camcorder and the camera and the electrics, put them all in, batteries in the mics and things like that. And that I feel, I do need. So it's not just personality support, it's also the other sort of materialistic support, and also lifting up of tables and chairs. Any event you go in a hall, right, we need all the men to help with the tables and chairs and things. So, it's helping each other, isn't it? With the gross motor skill stuff, whereas we're all into the fine motor things.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's all about that group. It's that collection of both personalities and skill sets that we all have that can add value to each other. Well, it was so lovely speaking to you and just learning more about the work you do, and you're such a kind, humble personality, and I hope you get lots more opportunities to continue the great voluntary work, humanitarian work you do.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome.